The Indiana Pacers are thought to be active on the trade market, and it appears that they're trying to strengthen their youth movement ahead of the 2022 NBA draft. Two teams are reportedly interested in Malcolm Brogdon, who's been a popular name in the rumor mill lately. As for the latest rumors about the transfer and everything NBA, keep watching. First up, the Indiana Pacers likely to move Malcolm Brogdon. Let's face it, the Wizards aren't going to try rebuilding this offseason, no matter how much the fans want them to. This is especially true given that the team is expected to give franchise player Bradley Beal a massive contract extension soon. So this gives them no reason to make a reboot right now, making Malcolm Brogdon a potential target. It's no surprise that Washington now has a lackluster rotation of point guards, especially after trading away Spencer Dinwiddie at the trade deadline of the previous season. While Brogdon isn't the perfect fit, he's definitely miles ahead of the alternative, going all the way back to John Wall's departure. So here's the deal. The Indiana Pacers may be a suitable fit for some players of the Wizards roster, including Deni Avdija and Rui Hachimura, even though Avdija is unlikely to be transferred. And let's not forget, the Wizards also have the number 10 selection to offer as compensation. Looking at it from afar, the Knicks seem to be in a situation pretty similar to the Wizards. As they exceeded expectations in 2020-21, things seemed too good to be true. And well, they didn't last. They made serious mistakes last season, completely missing the postseason and underachieving in the areas where they excelled in the previous season. However, they're guaranteed to compete for a playoff position in 2022-2023 with Julius Randle and the talented R.J. Barrett on the roster. Now, what other options the Knicks have? If you don't consider Emmanuel Quickley, New York only has an aging Kemba Walker and an injury-prone Derrick Rose as point guards. While not the worst-case situation, forcing Alec Burks into a playmaker role isn't going to work long-term, and the Knicks know this very well. So, considering all this, Brogdon becomes another target for the team, who are in dire need of a win in the playoffs. The Knicks also have a lottery pick, number 11, to offer for the playmaker, which is fortunate for the Pacers, but it's going to become more difficult to match salaries. That's for sure. Even so, they can try to outbid other bidders by using players like Cam Reddish, Obi Toppin, and Mitchell Robinson. The Indiana Pacers can relax, knowing that they have a lot of options for how they want to approach the offseason, regardless of how the coming days turn out. Next, why the Knicks want Malcolm Brogdon. Well, there are a few reasons why the veteran point guard's being sought after in a trade by the lottery-bound New York Knicks and Washington Wizards. Even if they are only a slight playoff danger for the upcoming season, their win now mentally is firm and unwavering even after their own unsuccessful campaigns. The Knicks are interested in Brogdon because anytime a player who matches that description becomes available, New York comes up in the conversation. Brogdon's a strong starting point guard when he plays, but there's an issue here. He usually misses out on said playing. Due to injury, Brogdon played in only 36 games last season. Since his first season in 2016 and 17, he's only topped 56 games once. After agreeing to an extension in October, his deal has 3 years and nearly $68 million left. But this isn't going to be a quick and easy deal by any means. Despite his history of injuries, it might require a solid first-round choice to convince him to leave Indiana. It might take the 11th selection to make a deal happen if the Knicks want Brogdon badly enough, although we don't know how far these negotiations have even gone. To be fair, Brogdon's history of his injuries may throw off some clubs, but the Pacers don't have to trade him right now because the contract is long enough. They could keep him and wait for him to have a healthy season, which will probably happen at some point before possibly trading him for a first-round pick at the time. The possibilities are there, but what's the best choice right now? That's the million-dollar question right now. Up next, Brogdon looks pretty good on paper. When we look at his resume, Brogdon has some great successful campaigns. Over the previous 2 seasons, he averaged 20 points per game. Once you start listening to the salaries of other point guards, his salary doesn't seem as grand. In 2022-2023, he'll receive $22.6 million, ranking him as the the NBA's 16th highest paid point guard. The 28-year-old could also be a calming influence for the young Knicks. Brogdon's a master of all trades who can make plays at a high level, score at 3 levels, and be a good defender. If the Knicks want him today, they'll have to make a valuable trade with the Pacers, especially since Indiana has enough time to play the waiting game. Indiana will probably make reference to previous role-playing guards who have also demanded sizable returns. For example, the Spurs got a first-round draft pick and a first-round swap in the Derek White trade back in February, despite the fact that Brogdon is ranked higher among NBA guards than White. The Knicks hold the 11th and 42nd picks in the NBA draft, so a trade may happen. Perhaps Brogdon's involved in a deal somewhere else, or perhaps New York joins in. Now, in other news, what other players could the Knicks get? Brogdon isn't the only player who the Knicks have their eyes on. According to insiders, New York is attempting to free up salary cap room in order to pursue Dallas Mavericks free agent guard Jalen Brunson. Last offseason, he requested a 4-year, $55 million agreement, but the Mavericks reportedly never made one. It might take the Mavericks almost a max contract to keep Brunson because they run the possibility of losing him for nothing to the Knicks, especially because this is where his father, Rick, is a newly hired assistant coach, and his old agent, Leon Rose, is the president of basketball operations. So there are plenty of reasons why Brunson might be looking to change teams. And this might surprise some fans, but according to Jake Fisher of Bleacher Report, the New York Knicks gave Jalen Brunson and Malcolm Brogdon priority above Kyrie Irving, even if he were to become available. Since the end of the postseason, Jalen Brunson has been the top point guard target for New York, and the league as a whole has been really interested in Brunson. The 25-year-old can stay with the Dallas Mavericks, but this trade's made possible because New York can give him a job as their primary ball handler. According to the reports, Malcolm Brogdon is actually the second point guard target for New York. Next, Kyrie Irving may be an option for Miami Heat. We'll also be talking about another big name who didn't move on draft night, but do so in the coming days. If Irving leaves the Brooklyn Nets, the franchise that takes him on will have to believe its culture is truly unmatched. Not just that, the team's going to have to believe that all of Irving's talent will be worth the trouble, because it will get through to him in ways nobody has before. Because let's face it, there are a lot of ifs here. So you're probably wondering, what franchise ticks all these boxes? Well, you need a team that's hungry for stars who add championship equity. You also need a franchise that isn't concerned with the long-term implications. And the only answer is Miami Heat. This deal could be blown out and expanded in a number of different ways, with more picks and perhaps Duncan Robinson heading to Brooklyn for Irving and additional players. But trading Bam Adebayo isn't even an option here. Lastly, Miles Turner and Chris Duarte to the Toronto Raptors for OG Anunoby and Khem Birch. Benedict Mathurin, an off-ball threat with a sweet shot, was added to the Indiana Pacers' already somewhat crowded backcourt when they selected him at pick number 7. The Arizona native joins T.J. McConnell, Malcolm Brogdon, Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and Chris Duarte on the team. Although Miles Turner's the main man to leave Indianapolis, the Toronto Raptors might be persuaded to part with OG Anunoby thanks to the now expendable Duarte. Khem Birch, a capable replacement center with a fair $6.7 million salary in 2022 and 2023, is as much a favor to the Pacers as any other. The 25-year-old Duarte scored 13.1 points per game and shot 36.9% from long range as a rookie, which is pretty impressive. But let's not forget, he lacks Anunoby's strength and defensive versatility. Behind Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent Jr., he would seamlessly fit into a rotation that could use another guard. Turner would provide Toronto with the center it lacks, while also giving its favored 5-out looks even more stretch. Anunoby still seems like a guy who has another level or two of development to go. Plus, he's under contract for 2 more seasons and a player option. Anunoby might not be happy in Toronto, which is why the Raptors might part with with someone like that for Turner's expiring money. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think is the best decision for the Knicks right now? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one, and thanks for watching.